I'm Ralph again, and funny little story. So I came out here today. I don't live that close. I live about 45 minutes from here. Came out today with the intent of shooting another video, which I'll try to keep going on the regular now. Came out here with the intent to do that, and got about, I don't know, 10 minutes away before I realized I did not bring my computer, my recording computer, which I use to record the audio. That's why I was holding a mic last time. So a quick thought, I'm like, what do? Do I just not do it? But it's kind of a pain to get out here, especially now that I'm back at work and all that jazz. So I decided, I went to Best Buy and I bought this little thing, little lavalier mic. Maybe it sounds halfway decent. I guess we'll find out. It's excessively hot in here today, so this is gonna be pretty quick, but just a couple of things since last time. First off, if you watched my last video, thank you very much. That's the first time I made one in a long time. I wasn't expecting to make it a YouTube thing, and then I fell into my old habits, and I guess it just kind of was like the groove to get into, so I got back into it. So that was what that was. And now I'm having fun with this again. Second thing, a lot of people actually came up to me and were kind of like, "You okay, man? You doing all right? You doing okay?" And I was fine. I thought I was being kind of, I don't know, tongue in cheek with it a little bit, but I appreciate all the outpouring of support or possibly worry for me. I'm a dark guy. Sometimes I got a bit of gallows humor in me. So sometimes I like to get a little bit, I don't know, dark or introspective or whatever. And yeah, so I'm doing fine. Don't worry about me. I just, every once in a while we all get in those moods where we're just kind of like, what am I doing? I have them frequently. So, but I like to laugh at them. I laugh at myself. So I don't have anything to worry about. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon through any voluntary basis. And I feel good. Like, especially today, I feel great. So last night, our band played a show. The Order of the Fly played a show in Corona, and which used to be like one of our old haunts back in the day. There was a great venue called the Showcase, which is probably my favorite place to this day to play. It closed down a while ago, and they even made a documentary on it, which actually I think I'm in. We went and saw the documentary a while ago when it came out, and it's very, very brief, like blink and you miss it, but there's a scene where they're talking about all the different crazy acts that came through, because primarily it's like pretty much it was known for like punk, standard, punk, like what you'd expect, anti-authoritarian types and shorts and Vans and California punk type stuff, but you get national acts and everything. And anyways, they're talking about how weird and out there it could get. And I remember it was like a bunch of footage of Edwin from Kettle Cadaver. He was an old friend. R.I.P. Some other bands. I'm trying to remember the names, but then there's a quick, really brief shot of me just like blowing fire, which is, I was like, all right, I'll take the one less than 1 nanosecond of screen time just to be part of the history of this place. Yeah, so we played a show last night in Corona at this place called Rockefellers. It was a blast. It was super fun. One of my former students tried to come by, and I felt bad because I had to turn the kid away because it wasn't 18, or 21, but another year, then she can come to shows. But I felt kind of bad because it's a bit of a haul from like where I work. But yeah, the show was great. A lot of fun. Had an awesome time. Cool bands. One thing I did notice that I was impressed by was like, it was mostly like guys probably close to my age or roundabouts. And so, you could tell we all like came up from the same scene and same era. And back in the day, everybody just played through whatever you could get your hands on. So it was a lot of pawn shop gear, a lot of used secondhand, a lot of hand-me-downs, a lot of busted guitars, busted amps. Everything was kind of in and out. And then last night it was like a museum. It was like Guitar Center sponsored it. It was just like these vintage Les Paul guitars that are in perfect condition and beautiful amps. So everybody either had a Marshall or a Mesa Boogie or some really nice like stack. And then, bass players were playing like Warwicks, and somebody had like a Thunderbird. And I was just like, everybody had like something that I was like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Jackson Flying V's. It was great. And everybody was competent and good. It was good. It was cool. It was fun. It's like interesting, for a genre that's kind of generally or used to be, you know, it was like the kids genre was like for punk. And now it's like most of the people that I see that listen to it or that still are into it are my age or roundabout there. So it is kind of weird, you know, it's like you see a bunch of like guys in the midlife moshing. It's not, I don't know. It's cool. It's like, I don't know. It's good. It's good that everybody's still young at heart. So the show was fun. It was great. I'm looking forward to playing more shows. I'm always in a good mood after we play shows. It was, what were some other things? You know, it was just great. It was really fun. Had a good time. And yeah, so that was that. And then today, what my plan originally was I was going to talk about, because I wanted to start discussing recording for people that don't have a whole lot of knowledge and maybe are interested in it and maybe want to learn, or at least learn whatever I know. And so I was going to go into why I think, you know, the cassette 4-track Porta Studio type recording device, which has become popular in recent years. Why I think it's like a real valuable learning tool. And I was going to demonstrate some stuff, but it is really hot in here, so I'm probably just going to make it a short one. But I was thinking on the way out here of something kind of funny that I don't know if I've ever shared in a video before, so I was going to share it because I keep seeing videos nowadays referencing this particular guy, and it's like one of my favorite like things that. One of my favorite like fish that got away kind of stories, you know, you're like, and nobody would believe it. I don't think if you didn't know, I was a fairly honest guy and usually don't make stuff up. You might be like, you might call bullshit, but I swear to God, this is real. So like, one day when I still lived here in San Bernardino, I lived at this point in time, I was living in an apartment, and our guitar player had left, so we made flyers looking for new guitar players, and so we put these flyers all over the place, like guitar centers and stuff like that, and music shops. And there was like this old like kind of head shop called what was it called, the Windjammer. It was like a San Bernardino institution, so we put these flyers all over the place wherever we could leave them. And it was, you know, email wasn't even really that big of a thing. This is like probably like early 2000s. And so I just put my like my own phone number on there. And it was back when you still had landlines. So I just put my home phone number on there. Like, you know, if a guitar player wants to try to join a theatric weird band that plays, you know, kind of punk, kind of metal, dresses up, that's important. You know, it's hard to find people that want to do that. So we put these flyers all over the place. And then, you know, didn't really get too many calls, got a few, but after a while, I remember I was at home, I was bartending at the time, so I'd usually be home in the days, and it was in the middle of the day, you know, like probably noonish or something like that, and I get a phone call, and so I answered the call, and immediately it's this kind of abrasive, aggressive dude, and he's like, yeah, I'm looking for somebody from the band The Order to the Fly. And so I was already like kind of on the back foot, and I was like, yeah, I'm Ralph, you know, I'm the bass player. And he's like, yeah, I checked out your flyer. But I just want to get something straight right off of the bat. You know, if we're going to be working together, you got to accept the fact that I'm going to write and I'm going to make some stuff, and I'm going to, you know, kind of what I say goes. And like, I have no idea who I'm talking to. I'm just like, well, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, who the fuck does he think he is? Number one. And number two, like the whole reason why I'm into this, you know, doing a band is because I like to write and create and stuff. And I had no idea who this dude was. And so then he's like, my name's Kim Fowley. You know who I am? And I did. And so if anybody's like a student of like rock and roll kind of semi-history, Kim Fowley was a producer and writer. Tons of credits to his name. He wrote songs that like for Alice Cooper. He had like the song The Escape on Welcome to My Nightmare. I think I'm trying to think of what he wrote. Something on Destroyer. I mean, he was like he was a writer. And like Kiss he wrote stuff for. These are like hero bands to me. And so but okay, so and he also produced famously the Runaways Cherry Bomb album or whatever it is. And from the Runaways came, you know, Lita Ford and Joan Jett and stuff like that, right? So a bunch of famous like artists came out of the Runaways. And it just so happened maybe like 6 months prior to that, Rolling Stone ran an article about it, about like how horrible he was to these girls and what a like Svengali and how controlling, and he would pit them against each other and insult them and do all these like underhanded, weird, manipulative things, right? So of course, you know, I should have known better. This is Rolling Stone. This is well before I questioned as much as I do nowadays, and before I understood like literally almost everything you read is like bullshit, and especially from a magazine like that. But I mean, it was a clear like, you know, hit piece on this guy, but I fell for it hook, line, and sinker at like, you know, 23 or 4 or 5 or whatever I was when I read it. And I didn't quite have the level of healthy skepticism that I now enjoy. But, you know, so I, as soon as he said that name, I was like kind of impressed that it was like that guy was calling me. I was like, well, I just read about this guy in Rolling Stone, so it was famous. I also, this is prior to like having regular internet access where you just can Google everything in the world. And I mean, I had the internet and it was like, you know, just was slow. So you wouldn't just sit and like immediately after somebody like tells you some interesting fact, you could like research it, you know, because you're going to wait like for the speed of the website to load. No, the information wasn't as prevalent. So, I mean, what I knew was what I read from that magazine article. And it wasn't only till much later where I started seeing albums, you know, with his name on it and going, oh my God, what a freaking missed opportunity. So anyways, this guy, Kim Fowley, is on the line and he's calling me in my apartment in San Bernardino. And I'm assuming he must have done it just because we were kind of like, it was our MySpace era. So we had our stuff on MySpace. So he probably saw the picture of the band, saw that we were like theatric, and he had experience with guys like, you know, Kiss, Alice Cooper, like, you know, theatrical type bands and stuff. He came from that sort of era and like the real like, you know, bombastic 80s and stuff. And so this is post grunge, you know, where everybody was just wearing, I don't know, flannels and boring kind of like appearance. So this is like, you know, I think he was more like, oh, this is my element. So he calls us up, I think that I was more educated than I was, and I'd be starstruck enough by the fact that he called me that I'd jump at the chance to work with this guy, which if he called now, I would, but spoiler alert, he's dead. So that's not going to happen. I mean, now I just think back, like, what was I thinking? But I just didn't know, you know, I was like naive and dumb and super still in my like hyper anti-authoritarian, you know, which the streak is still there, but at least now I can temper it enough. I'm not as much as like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. Yeah. So anyways, long story short, he comes on off real aggressively, and he asks if I know who he is. He's like, I'm Kim Fowley, you know who I am? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And then he just like starts leaning into it. He's like, listen, he's like, I'm open to working with you maybe, but I don't know. It's like, I'm going to have to suss it out. And I don't really know, you know, I've written for all kinds of famous people. And so you're just going to have to accept the fact that I'm going to be doing some writing. And the thing that killed it, so the thing that like this whole conversation might have ended differently if he hadn't said this next thing, but he's like, yeah, you know, he's like, I moved to Ontario, and we're, you know, me and my partner, you know, we're using the Line 6 pod. You probably don't even know what that is. And I was like at this time I was like, bro, like my band has like 2 of those things, and they're an embarrassment now. At the time they were kind of like new modern amp modeling technology, so it was like cool, you could like record directly into a thing without having to mic up an amp, or have a great amp. You could sort of somewhat, you know, replicate the sound of what you were looking for. Now they just sound awful if you listen to them now. Amp modeling has gotten so much more advanced, but at the time, you know, I didn't know. But then he tried to like, I don't know, like talk down to me, like condescend to me about my knowledge of a pod when I like literally had one sitting like 2 feet from me. And so I was like, yeah, I was like, my band uses those all the time. And I was like, so now I'm not even impressed, because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So he left his number, and he, you know, I kind of blew him off after that. I was like, yeah, whatever, guy, you know, I'll think about it. And I think that wasn't what he was expecting to hear from some dirty, like nobody from Dirt Town, San Bernardino. And I think that offended him. So we hung up, kind of just like, what was that about? So years later, now it's funny. I don't know like why or how, but he keeps popping up on YouTube, and it's not like I've researched this guy or even talked about him. So it's not like, I don't know, maybe I did. Maybe the phone's always listening, but well, I know it is. But anyways, now I keep seeing videos and I'm like, man, what a missed opportunity, dude. Could you imagine? I mean, it would have changed even if it would have sucked, it would have been cool to say, you know, it'd be like Phil Spector records your band or something and walks around with guns the whole time. You know, probably would suck to go through, but you'd be able to talk about it forever. And I could have talked about this. Is like one of the greatest missed opportunities in my life. Anyways, if I have told that story, and I probably do tell it all the time, it's like a fishing story, you know, it's like the one that got away. So I tell it a lot. I don't remember if I made a video on it. So if I did, I'm sorry to bore you once again. Thanks for sitting through it. And it's too hot, man. I got to get out of this joint. But yeah, that's funny. What a missed slot. Hopefully this doesn't derail the whole idea of the show. I do want to do some cool recording stuff. So next time when it's cooler and I can last longer than whatever 15 and a half minutes, I'll do something like that. But anyways, had a fun show, had a great time. I hope to see you guys at a show sometime. Thank you so much for all the comments. Oh, you know what I figured I'd do too, is kind of respond to some. I'm not good at going back on YouTube and responding to comments, so I'll respond to a couple next time, because Tony asked a cool question, you know, about Ghastly Jack, my comic book that I made once upon a time. So I'll answer that, and then I'll answer what was another question? Oh, my buddy Jones, he chimed in. He lives in New Mexico now, which is my old stomping ground, so that's cool. So I hope you're doing okay out there, buddy. And yeah, I'll try. What I'll do is I'll probably like write those down or something, and I'll answer them, so it'll be like that. Oh, one other thing. That's the whole reason that I kind of want to do this again now. The more most of the stuff I watch on YouTube are like live streams. And I know I don't want this. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not asking you to smash the subscribe button or ring the bell for notifications or any of that jazz or whatever, or smash the like button and, you know, subscribe. In fact, don't. In fact, I want to keep this small. All right. This is just for us. This is just between us. Don't even tell anybody this exists. This is just whoever's listening now. That's it. I don't want any more people. If someone accidentally finds out about it, okay, maybe we'll vet them and decide if they're allowed to hang out. But for the most part, this is just between us. Okay, this is us. So yeah, I'm not trying to grow the channel or go after metrics or whatever. I just want to like chit chat and hang out. And so I thought it'd be fun to do live streams. So if anybody is able and would like to do that, let me know if that sounds like something that you would be amenable to, and when is a good time to do it, because I work in the day, so I could probably do it at night, but I don't know where everybody lives. So maybe somebody lives in England and that would be horrible, you know, it's like 6 a.m. or something, or maybe it works because you work nights. I don't know, whatever. If anybody wants to do like some sort of Q&A, oh, that's the other thing. My wife and I were talking about that too. She's like, you should do a Q&A. It'd be cool. You know, you have people send in questions, and then, you know, then you just, it's sort of like the live stream, but a slower version of it. If you have questions, so I'm going to do that too, but I don't know how to do it. So once I figure that out, I'll put up something like, you know, post some questions in the comments and then I'll respond. In fact, I'll just do that now. If you have anything that you're curious about or you want me to talk about, put them in the comments now, and then I'll be smart enough that next time I do this next week, like Sunday or Monday or something, I'll print them out and then I'll respond to your questions or something like that. Something along those lines. And yeah, that's it. Recording wise, didn't do anything last week because I was back to work and got busy. So we're back at it this next week. So that'll give me more things to sort of illustrate too, because I want to get back. I'm going to be working on some of my own stuff as well as the Order of the Fly. But the Order of the Fly, I already kind of mentally know exactly what I'm going to do because we're re-recording old songs. But the stuff I'm making on my own, my like more synth-based kind of stuff, that stuff will be, it's like a constant experiment to see like what works and what doesn't. Maybe I'll play some examples of stuff. I did find out one cool thing that I did with the guitar amp that I'm pretty proud of, even though the rest of my band poo-pooed it, and I think they thought I was pitching it as an Order of the Fly song, which I'm absolutely not. It's like it's not even a song. It's like a interlude or something. It's like a couple minutes of just kind of a David Lynchian, you know, slow 50s tremolo reverby guitar thing. It's not supposed to be a song. I was just proud of the guitar tone I was able to get out of my amp and the miking technique I used, and I put it in my little group chat, and the guys just, when I asked about it, they're like, yeah, no, we don't know about that. And I'm like, no, I'm not pitching it to you. I'm not trying to say we were going to play this. Do you listen to the sweet bell-like tone coming out of this amplifier? It sounds fantastic. Anyways. Yeah, okay. I hope everybody has an awesome day. Hopefully I didn't bore you to tears. 20 minutes, that's not bad. I'll talk to you soon. I'll try to do one of these a week. So have questions, put them in the thing. Next week I'll answer them. And I've just saying that, I feel like a narcissist or arrogant, like I'm some big giant like person that anybody's like dying to get to the bottom of. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I thought it sounded fun. Maybe you think it sounds fun. If you think it sounds fun, do it. If you don't think it sounds fun, don't do it. Sounds good to me. All right, goodbye.